Cool. Okay, we're recording. So the first person going will be Franco. Let me just pull it up.
Sure. The only thing I will say is that my power went out because of the Texas thing. So I kind of rushed it as soon as I got the power back because I didn't know when it was going to cut back out. So
that is okay. As I said in the email, we care about where you are right now. We care about, just you putting in some effort. So we're really excited to see it. So without further ado, if everyone can give me a thumbs up when you hear this, just let me know.
Nobody move!
All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for going first, Franco. That's a good setup. So I think you have a strong draft there. You definitely are paying attention to the important moments that are in the piece. One thing to consider is that, especially when we're writing, action or suspense, when a part of a scene ends up being a little bit longer than we wish it would be, we have to bring in some kind of a compositional gesture in order to help to move the picture along. And so that your very first section, you've got, it sounded like to me it was almost a direct repeat of, you introduced something and then you did it again in the very first part. So that second time that you do it, vary it up a little bit. The kind of the most extreme gesture you could do would be, to modulate or something. I think it's probably too soon in the cue to do something like that. But I do think you could either add in another rhythmic element or add in some kind of a sustain or just do something that's a little bit different. So for the beginning, I think that would really build into where, we see Godzilla coming out. I think you handled the moment where Godzilla came out really well. We always have to assume that big moments like that, where the sound design is going to be the focus, we have to leave space for that, and you did a great job with that. I do think you could have come in earlier, either with a pickup measure or some pickup notes when you have that up-tempo thing that comes in after that moment. And that way you wouldn't have, you'd be able to push into where your sync point was, rather than, which I think would carry it a little bit better in that moment. At the end, I really like the use of silence, but I would advise you to include something like a high string sustained note, something that's going to give you a little bit more texture without kind of interrupting that idea of the silence. So overall, I think it was a great, like I said, a great draft, especially given that you didn't have that much time and you were worried that the power was going to go out. Yeah, strong, I think. And I think it would be worth developing more and finishing it up and having it on your reel.
Thank you.
Of course. Awesome. Thanks, everybody. And thank you, Janine. So the next person everyone can just give a quick round of applause.
Yep.
The next person I'm going to be calling out is, they all move around when I play one. Let's go with, I can't pronounce, hold on, you must be in the chat. Is it upasak? I want to pronounce it right. I get it?
Yeah, Upasak.
Upasak. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. All right, while I upload your piece, do you have anything you would like to say?
Well, this is my first time scoring to a clip, and I'm a first-time student, guitar principal, and I want to major in film scoring, and so I hope you guys like it, like what I did.
Great.
Thank you.
So while Lauren's getting that up, I want to challenge you all. You know, if you've had me for a class, I've mentioned the fact that being at Berklee is just this remarkable opportunity to be in a group of musicians, and specifically here, a group of composers. You know, writers typically have, I'm talking about authors, they have writers groups where they bring works in progress and they get feedback from their peers. So as we're watching these pieces, it's actually a really good exercise for you to also be analyzing it and saying, what is great about the piece of music that we're hearing that the composer shouldn't vary too much, right? So something that works really well that you think they should continue to use in that piece. And then what is one thing that they could do a little bit better? And so I'm hoping after we watch this one that the chat window just lights up, because it's just as much an exercise for you all to be analyzing somebody else's music as to be receiving feedback from other composers. All right. Sorry, Lauren.
No, thank you very much. It had me ready to go. All right.
Nobody move!
All right.
Very nice.
Yes, nice work. Totally different approach. That's one of the things I love about watching the same piece with different musical approaches. The eeriness, as was mentioned in the chat, is fantastic. It really, you know, you have that visceral, you know, impact that, you know, the hair on the back of your neck goes up. So I think that worked really well. The as somebody said in the chat, that sync point on the you know, Godzilla and the fire, or whatever we call that, that was excellent. I felt like and you'll have to tell me, it felt like you slowed down just a little bit going into that moment in order to hit it. No? Okay. So I was gonna say maybe it was just the pacing or the rhythm that made it feel like you were doing this kind of slow-mo thing, which is one way to approach it. Given the moment in the clip, though, I would have preferred that you drive into it rather than you back off of it. So that could be done by increasing the rhythmic density a little bit to really push us into that moment, because it's so early in the cue and there's so much more to come. I haven't gotten to the place where I need a break or where I need to be able to take a breath yet. So I'd rather have my hair going up, which you did with the chills, but I'd rather have my heartbeat start to race rather than like be frozen in time somehow. The second half was excellent. Again, very eerie. I think you could do some cool. You've already got some great synth effects. Something that really connects with that main character's eyes. You know, we get the sense that we're really drawn into his eyes, and I think you could do something that is subtle musically, but that would pull us in. And with these textural scores, that's what, if you really sit down and study them, that's what makes them so magical, is that they're very subtle additions, or you know, sometimes it's a filter effect or some other kind of effect that really matches picture in a way. So again, though, strong effort. You've got a good start on this one.
Thank you so much.
Of course.
Thank you. And I see you have a lot of replies in the chat, so take screenshots, save those. Those are all great. It's also nice to keep you in some encouragement. The next person I'm going to be picking is Alexis, if you are here.
Hi.
Yeah, you're cool with me playing your piece?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Anything you'd like to say before we go for it?
This is my first time scoring an actual film piece, so I had a lot of fun with it. It does start off kind of quiet in the beginning, but yeah, I took my best shot at it.
Great. Let's do it.
Nobody move!
Super nice.
All right, again, that was excellent. Love the approach. You have a couple of things that I think you could leverage a little bit more. In the beginning, and there were some comments about this, that string buildup was super nice. Like I loved the fact that it was, you know, it was subtle, but it was driving and it really took us in. You brought in those low brass as a texture. I think you could probably, hey Sheldon, I think you could probably hold off and bring those in as Godzilla is coming out of the water, and you might have more impact there with, you know, because it's a new sound, it's a new element. At the end, or after the shooting of the fire, you did this low percussive hit when we saw Godzilla's eyes for the first time. And for me, what that meant was that the music was really coming at us more from the perspective of Godzilla than from the people. And I think that's a fine approach. But I think you need to do it again, right? So you kind of call it out with the first look at Godzilla's eyes, and then you leave Godzilla's eyes alone. Like the moments continue to come up in a couple different ways, and I think that's one of the things that we want to do is we want to build up our approach to either an emotion or a perspective. So I think you could leverage that gesture that you're doing on Godzilla and really think about what's Godzilla feeling at that moment, because that seemed, just for whatever reason, that seemed to me what the perspective was after the roar. Sheldon, did you see that one?
I did not.
Okay.
Hello, Sheldon. Hello, Professor. It's good to see you.
Hello, everybody.
I'm Lauren.
I'm sending out a quick message, and then I'll be right there.
No problem. We are going to start loading up our next piece.
Great.
And yeah, thank you for being here. So the next person, I'm just going down the list, would be Rey Fernandez, if you are here. Yep, there you are. Hello. Anything you'd like to say before I
just want to say hi to Janine. How you doing, Janine?
Good. Great to see you here.
And also the other professor, nice to meet you. I don't know you. But
I'm
nice
Sheldon. Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
All right, Ray.
All right.
So how do we watch? Are you sharing it? That's how we're doing it.
Yep. We
Beautiful.
share the screen and we just thought it'd be easier to use like
Okay.
one machine rather than have to tell everybody to do the share my audio button every time on Zoom.
Looks
So,
great. Okay.
Great. Let's do it.
Nobody move!
Okay, very nice. All right.
All right. Did we lose Sheldon? No, there you are. Why don't you go ahead, Sheldon?
I am here. So that's really a terrific job. Where are you, Ray? There you are. Okay. So you really deliver a lot of the feeling that we need at the beginning. So first of all, it's very smart how you handle the mystery and the possible danger that's coming. That is, you keep it pretty simple and you keep it low, and it sits right, you sit right into the movie. So one of the great things that this does is that your general approach and your general way of writing and thinking about what you're doing doesn't fall off the screen. That is, it sits inside. And by the way, for those of you who aren't Ray, that's a thing that comes from your intention. That is, there's no technical thing that you do. What you do is that you try to write so that it sits in the movie, that you aren't concerned about showing how cool your writing is. What you're concerned about is making us feel that something weird is in the water and it's coming and it's big. Okay. So you do that beautifully. When he comes out of the water, holy shit. I mean, wow. Beautiful. And by the way, the use of the choir rocks. Okay. So it's beautiful. And again, it makes me feel the massiveness of this guy. And again, part of it is harmonic. A lot of it is orchestrational, but part of it is harmonic. The orchestration is at that moment, everybody's in there. Okay. And that's really wonderful. Again, having this minor sort of tonality, I have to listen to it again to remember what the chords were, but the minor tonality with kind of a tritone major available and possibly going there is a really, really neat way of producing wonder and of producing awesomeness, awesome amazingness. Okay. It's really smart what you do when that thing of fire shoots out of him again, and you focus on it and you don't do anything. You just let it, you hit it with a note, and that note just is there and it's doing its thing. Super, super, super powerful. So all of that stuff rocks, Ray. I want you as my student. Now, then you do a really neat thing. And the movie does a neat thing. That is, then what you say is, what happens is that now he comes down and he's going to confront his little humans that are there. He's going to look at them. And what you do is you come down, but then you don't tell me anything. All you're doing is focusing me. You have one note, and it's really, really nice. But there's something else going on there that one note can't tell me. And the something else is that Godzilla is evaluating what we've got. Now, we can see that in the movie when you do this, but you could tell that a little bit better. Okay? And again, as always in film scoring, it's all about intention. You will write what you mean. The secret is to mean something. Okay?
Okay.
You got what I'm saying, Ray?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I feel the same. I feel like at the end, I feel like there's something else that was missing.
So that's my evaluation. But really good, dude. So come study with me. Okay?
Thank you.
All right.
Janine, anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, I mean, all that, and that was going to be my main point, Ray. The second half, it's a lost opportunity. The note is great, but you're not really providing additional understanding of what's going on, right? So, yeah. So it would be subtle, though. I'm not talking about doing something overblown, but you've got the note, which is really nice, and then you have room for a couple more subtle things that will make the audience understand that Godzilla is thinking. The gears are turning. So yeah, nice job. Nice. And love the choir too.
Yeah, as a little thing, the way that you do this is not by figuring it out. The way that you do this is by experiencing Godzilla as Godzilla is experiencing Godzilla. Okay? And then the music will become clear. Okay? All right? So it's not like, oh, I know how to do that. There's some trick. There's no trick. I mean, there is a trick. You experience Godzilla. You experience the movie, which is what you did up to this point beautifully. But I think that there is this need that for us in the audience and for you as the expressor, to express this other set of things. Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. All right, next person I have loaded up on my list would be Nick Gambardella.
That's it perfectly.
Oh, thank you very much. How are you? Anything you'd like to say before I push the share button?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I kind of wanted to, I mean, I guess like everybody is really just like put you in the moment as if you were experiencing that yourself. So I really just, I focus a lot on sound design, a lot of like wind, not really wind sounds, but it sounds like you're kind of hearing wind shuffling through the air a little bit through like certain pads and stuff that I used. And then there's a few like brass hits. Yeah, I think it's pretty cool.
I was muted. Thank you very much. It's time to share. Desktop. All right, let's do this.
Nobody move!
Awesome stuff.
Thank you.
Great. All right, let's get those reviews. Let's start with Janine this time.
Sure thing. Yeah, I mean, I liked you mentioned how you used a bunch of different kind of sonic elements, and I think that they worked really well. That percussive thing that you're using at the beginning works really well, but you can do a little bit more with it. So there, you know, when Godzilla comes out of the water, this is an intense moment, right? And so you've built up this expectation in our ear for this kind of regular rhythm that you're doing. That's where chaos is about to reign supreme, right? So I think you could that's one of the things that we have to think about. You know, a lot of times, especially when you first start writing for film, you get caught up in like, how is the form of music? And we have to be willing to leave that expected kind of standard that we have in our brain. Everything doesn't have to be, 8 measures long or 12 or whatever. So let yourself follow the lead of the picture as much as Sheldon was saying, feeling like you're inside of that picture and what would it feel like to be in the picture. In addition, on the second half, you have some really cool elements that are coming in, but again, they feel kind of off from the picture. So you bring in a really cool synth kind of, a sheen or a whoosh or something, but it doesn't fall, it's neither here nor there, right? Is it commenting on the human guy? Is it commenting on Godzilla? I don't know. So again, just step back and say, what is the feeling of being here, and that will lead you to know where you want to place those elements. But again, I think it's a strong draft, and I think you could definitely work on it a little bit more and just tighten up some of those moments to go with the picture.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point, because I was trying to come up with, like, when they were looking back and forth at each other, I was trying to think like, oh, like, what sort of a conversation are they having, like, just by that stare. So like I was trying to find 2 specific sounds that I think could reflect against each other, and Yeah, no, it's interesting. I mean, that's actually interesting though, because I keep saying that. But like, I don't really know if that's perfect. Like, I never really like thought of like, oh, that instrument is what I'm hearing when I'm seeing Godzilla, or that's what I'm hearing when I see that guy. So, I mean, is there anything specific too that you would think? I mean, I don't know. It's my interpretation, so I don't really know.
I mean, I do think, I think you've built up this expectation. The textures are what we expect to hear from the score. And we have to be really careful because there was the one moment that really kind of popped out to me. It was because it didn't match what I felt like the scene was trying to say. You had this element that came in on the human that he's not that strong. Like, he's not, he's maybe not cowering, but Godzilla is our focus, right? So, so I would just kind of step back and say, what is the emotion that the filmmaker is trying to convey? And they're trying to convey that Godzilla is this massive thing that could just eat us up, and he's considering it.
Yeah.
Sheldon, what did you think?
Well, I thought a bunch of stuff. I agree with everything that Janine said. The better way for me to do this is to actually go watch it with you can we watch it together again? And someone stop it as I say stop. Is that okay? Can we do that, Film Scoring Network?
Yes, we can. So long as we have like so many
we have a whole lot of things. So wait, that's my problem. So here, okay. I have this a problem.
I'm sorry.
My first impression is that you're trying too much at the beginning. So what I mean by that is that you've decided, first of all, you're doing things with sound design, but there's a lot of sound design already. That is, there's noise, there's wind, there's stuff going on. So in fact, what you really want to be communicating here is something that music can do with better facility than the sound design. So in a way, there's no reason for you to have all of those spooky sounds, because guess what? It's spooky. Okay. So there's not really any need for it. Now, is it bad? No, it's fine. I don't think it's helping us that much. And the big thing that you do is that you set up, like Janine said, you set up this pattern. That's probably the worst thing you can do, because we don't know we want to not know what's going to happen. But when you have that pattern, it's like, oh yeah, it's coming, it's going to be here. Now here it comes, and now here it's, and then it's here. Now that's, again, you don't do it that stupidly, but fundamentally, I would say that's not the best way to approach this. What I would say fundamentally is, what is the feeling at that point? What's it feel like? Well, let's talk about it. It feels like there's a mystery. There's something we don't know about, and it's dark, and it's deep, and it's big. All right. So those are the things that you want to show me in the movie, that the movie is kind of showing, but you can amplify that with the music that feels like that, not the sounds that sound like that. Okay. Now, when Godzilla comes up, you're you're not big enough. Godzilla is huge. I mean, Godzilla is huge. We can't even fit him all on the screen. He doesn't fit on the screen. He's so huge. Okay. So you're a little bit underneath that. You're a little small on that. Now you do a great thing. You show me when Godzilla sees them. You show that to me. Wow, that's great. I love that. Okay. And then you show that encounter. Now, I want to say, unlike Janine, I like what you were trying to do. I don't think you accomplished it, but your idea is right. The idea of it is to say, wait a second. Godzilla is seeing these people and he's thinking about it. That's what we want to know. The guys we understand better by looking at their face. We can't tell what Godzilla feels by looking at his face. You can tell me a little bit about it, and you kind of do. One element you use is fundamentally really wrong in my book, and that's the electric guitar. I think that that's just stuck on top of it, and it feels like it's sitting, like someone put it on top of this thing, and it's from another universe. It's not from the universe that we're in. It's identifiably an electric guitar, and it's like, wait, that's not right. Okay. So those are my opinion. I mean, I'm sorry. I could talk for an hour on each of these things. There's so much to discuss. I think it's really good. I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say that's really good specific information. I think really probably the thing I got most out of it was really the fact that you said the electric guitar is a little more humanized, and Godzilla is obviously not human. So maybe if I go back and look at that, then that'll be a good thing to change. So
here's my input. If they're having a conversation, what are they saying to each other? What are they saying? I think that that's a very interesting way to look at it. What are they saying? The conversation is mostly going one way. Okay. All right.
Awesome. Thank you very much. So the next person that I have queued up and ready to go would be, I hope the name's on here. Yep. The next person would be Wyatt. So if Wyatt has anything they would like to say before, just let me know. And if not, I'll just go ahead and play.
Yeah, I was just going to say it's great to meet the professors and everyone else. Yeah, this is also like my first time doing something like this. So yeah, hopefully you like it.
Cool. Thank you so much. Here we go. I kind of cut myself off.
Nobody move!
Awesome. This was kind of the first time we've seen kind of like a lighter synth, which I'm not here. Sorry, which is really exciting. I like that one a lot. Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, go ahead. We'll start. I can't remember who we started with. So whoever we didn't start with last time, go ahead and give some of your advice.
I guess that's me. So a couple of things. Where are you? I've got go like this. There. Hi, Wyatt.
Yeah.
Hey, good job. Good job.
Thank you.
Now, my biggest comment has to do with the fact that I'll start from the beginning. Beginning is good. Beginning is really good. A thing that I'm a little bit unhappy about is at the very end, right before he comes out, you are a little bit overtly synthy. We have to be careful about being overtly synthy. Here's why. When audiences hear it, They think that there's a guy twiddling a knob. And here's the secret about film score. We should never wonder about how this film score is being made. It should never be, it's not a real concern that matters we should be invisible. We, as the composer, is completely invisible, should be completely invisible. All that exists is the story. Okay, that's the goal. Now, so when you have a texture like that, you're going to have to be a little careful that you don't pull the resonance up so hot, and you don't bring that filter move so big that it starts sounding like it's a synth. Just be careful. It's really good, though. I really got the vibe. I got the feeling of the mystery. Now, when Godzilla comes out, you're way below where you need to be. Like not a little bit below, like way below. Godzilla is amazing. Godzilla is huge. So you have to give us that. Okay. So you need a substantially more oomph in there. Okay. One thing that you could use is a real musical statement there. Now, in real life, what we'd have is a theme. And this would be possibly when that would state. The person who showed us how that could work was Rey. Okay. So now, once we've got him up, by the way, when they are first meeting each other, you aren't giving me enough of the surprise and, oh my God, he sees us. Oh my God, that we want to see more. But when at the end, the last thing you do is super good in my book. Now, here's what's super good about it. You go into what the hell is going. You say, what the hell is Godzilla thinking? And you do it with one note. It's just bing, bing, just that. Bing. That's it. It's like, oh my God. Now, when he decides to go away, you might want to give me a little bit of his decision. He's made a decision. That's a thing that you could do. You just kind of let it go. So it all seems like I'm in a dream. It's like I'm in a dream the whole time, but it's way not in a real dream. It's absolutely, totally, brutally, completely present to these people. Okay. So does that make sense to you?
No, yeah, that makes total sense. Yeah. And also I'm not great at mixing. So I think it was definitely like too quiet as well. But yeah.
Yeah. It's okay. No, I mean, yeah, even if it was really big, there was a lot of space in it. So the space is there, whether you have it or not. So what you're doing is you're going, whomp, whomp, and that's a lot of space in there. At this point, when he's out, we don't want to go back down. He's there. He's, I mean, he's there, right? Am I right?
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. So I'm there with Sheldon. I also think, so definitely I love the difference of opinion about the perspective at the end as compared to the previous cues that we've listened to. I do want to point out at the beginning as well, we're not always following picture. We're providing some commentary as well. And so you do something when there's a cut to the ocean and we see it rumbling around, and so we know that something's happening. But right before that, there's this nice shot of the woman, and we see in her eyes that she sees the water moving. So that's your cue point, not the cut. It's when we can provide that commentary for the audience to say, oh, something's happening. She just reacted to something, and then it would make sense for that cut to come in after.
I just want to totally support. That's really important. When we enter with music, we need to find what in the story is making us enter. Cuts never make us enter. Things in the story make us enter.
Yeah. Good way, nice way to put it, Sheldon. And then I want to point out to the group at the end, you've seen it in the chat. Sheldon has mentioned it, that nice difference of perspective of what is going on. that's in the world of film scoring. That's where having that conversation with the director comes in. So if, maybe the director is saying, as we've heard in some of the other approaches, this is really eerie, it's, intimidating, it's whatever. Or maybe the director is saying what you were trying to say, which is, wow, like, it doesn't have to be so, scary, I guess. So this would be that. We don't get to make that decision. The director tells us what they want from those shots. So I love that you had that a different approach, because it's very indicative of what could happen depending on where we're getting our direction from. So nice job.
Just a little add to that. In the actual interactions that we have, it's really good to come in with a perspective. So you came in and you showed us something. The movie we saw something new in the movie because of what you did. By the way, that can work with a director. And a director can start seeing what you see in there, because here's the deal. Movie's not done yet. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much.
Hold on. Okay, so the next person on my list I'm seeing is, we're going to do some maybe rapid fire. Kenny, I know you wanted to say something real quick, so I set that up. Go for it.
Yeah, so we had way more submissions than we had really expected.
We have like 35 people.
Yeah, and we wanted to, give all of those the good feedback that they deserve, especially for this whole event. So we're gonna use Discord to like its utmost advantage, and we're probably gonna just like every day put another submission into the Discord, and you all can watch it, and we'll do our best at giving like prompt feedback, even though it may not be from our wonderful faculty members here. We have some good upperclassmen that I think can give good feedback and critique. So if you haven't already joined the Discord, let me get a link I can put in the chat.
Yeah. Yes, I mean, I know I'm not Janine, and I know I'm not Sheldon, even in like 10% of that knowledge capacity. But I have taken some classes with Janine, so I kind of can think like, what would Janine say? But no, yeah, Ollie and I and JP and Grace-Mary are happy. Kenny and I are happy as well. We have some grad students too that are really, really proficient in the field. So if you're really feeling like, hey, I came here to be critiqued, shoot us an email or join the Discord. Just let us know, because we want to make sure we make that happen for you guys. So without further ado, because I don't want to keep talking over this, next person on my list would be Kieran. So any final words before I share?
Hello, my name's Kieran. This is the first time I've ever tried scoring anything, and I had a lot of fun with it. I hope you enjoy.
Cool. Well, I appreciate the atomic fire vibes behind your, like on your wall, to be in the mood for Godzilla. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Nobody move!
Very nice. Very nice.
All right. So yeah, you've got the awe-inspiring light approach comment in the chat, and I think that's very evident. One of the things we get to do as film composers, though, is we don't have to stick to one perspective and one idea necessarily all the time. So you've got some moments there where you can play off of the awe by bringing in some of the tension or some of what we think the characters are feeling on the screen. So, you know, I've mentioned about that reaction from the woman as she's seeing Godzilla, the water moving. And so you can have the awe happening, and you can really set that off by combining it with something that is not necessarily disconnected, but is more connected to a different feeling that we're having. It doesn't have to be as crazy as, you know, Charles Ives or something, but you can really use that to your advantage, because there is a lot of tension in this scene. We can still feel the awe that you are inspiring, but you can also offset that a little bit by providing some of the additional emotion that we're feeling. So I would just encourage you, again, we don't have to stick to a musical form. We don't have to say this is a song and it always, you know, it has to, you know, coalesce on a single idea, but rather be a little bit more willing to flow between the different emotions of the perspective of the filmmaker. So there, we definitely have that awe, but then we have, you know, the guy who says, you know, nobody move. That's a tense moment. And so see if you can build in some of that tense and some of that stress there as well. But yeah, good for the first time, good approach.
Thank you.
So wow, for a first time, it was really good. And what was really good about it is that you were watching the movie, and you were giving us the movie. So here's a couple of thoughts. First of all, I really thought the front of it was really strong, and it really brought us in, and it was very mysterious, and it was very smart, and it was harmonically smart. So here's, now the main thing that you did is that you turned Godzilla into a good guy, which I thought was great. What an interesting way of looking at it. So to you, when Godzilla comes out, he's beautiful, and you make him beautiful. Now, here's the deal. He also is really scary, and you don't give us that also. So here's the thoughts about that. One, give us some bottom. Okay, just literally, we need some heaviness. We need some size. So we need that octave of stuff that's below the octave below middle C. We need stuff in there. Okay, not only that, but we also need the octave from middle C down to that next guy, where you can put in body and chords. It's the place where horns live, French horns. They live there, and violas. That's a really beautiful thing to pull out in that area. Now, the second thing is what Janine said, which is exactly right. Now, here's what you do. You do give us, at the end, you give us these two notes. Go, da, da, you give them both. You have a major and a minor third. You can do that. That's legit. As a matter of fact, it's one of the great tricks. One of the great tricks is to not be minor and to not be major, to be both. Play chords that have both thirds. That will allow us to to wonder. That puts this weird, that's, by the way, Janine said, don't do Ives. I do Ives. I mean, that is the thing that Ives does, is that he's agnostic about everything. But I mean, do you understand what I'm talking about, Kieran? So if what you do is that you come in on the bottom with a minor triad, in that bottom. So let's say that you're in, will be in C. So you have C and G and C on the way down the bottom, big and heavy and strong. And then you have C flat and G in that next octave up there. That's minor. And then up on top, you stick an E. There's an E in there up there with the chord. That's a more interesting chord. It might even be kind of like, you could even put in like an E major chord, which is a whacked out thing to do, but it's really smart because it's very bright. Okay. So you are already aiming in that direction. So it's really good. Again, and the spotting was great. Leaving the hall and then coming back in when Godzilla comes in. And you like Godzilla. I love that you like Godzilla. I like Godzilla. Okay. And I think that makes it a more interesting movie. So that's what I think.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for that. You know, when I watched Godzilla for the first time, he is kind of a good guy in this movie a little bit. Like, he's scary, but he's also kind of like a little bit of a warrior. And, you know, to be continued, Godzilla versus King Kong, March 31st. But there's going to be some really great monkey lizard, you know, it'll be good. We're really excited about it. But Godzilla's kind of a good guy. So for now. So I like that you scored it that way, because there are some tender moments with Godzilla in the movie, even though he's a giant lizard. So if you have time for one more, we can do one more, but our meeting does end at 2, so I do want to be respectful of your guys' time as well.
Yeah, unfortunately, I do have to take off. Thank you
That's
so
fine.
much.
Yeah, thank you so much. Oh my goodness, thank you for coming. It was so great.
It was great to hear all the music. Keep writing. All right. See you later, everybody.
I have a similar sort of issue as Janine. So,
that's okay. Thank you so much.
I can stay a little bit longer. I have to check something first. So I'm gonna go away and then come back. But
okay.
I would like to say that if anybody wants to connect with me, I can connect with you about your work. Okay.
Well, there you go. Thank you so much.
If anybody wants to do that, really, for everybody I saw, really good. Keep writing. It's very exciting to see your work. Okay. So I'm going to go away, and if I'm free, I'll be back, and it'll be in like about a minute. If not, I'm not coming back. Okay. Okay.
Cool.
Okay.
Cool. Bye. Bye. Well, while we're gonna just hold out for a minute or so, isn't he the best? I just want to say, you guys, that a lot of you are beginners, and I think that submitting your work and putting it in front of everybody is just such a bolder move than I was willing to do when I was doing my first projects. And so I really commend you for being really forward and just being really excited to share your work, because the first thing I wrote, I think I showed to Ollie, and like I never listened to it again. I was like, this is terrible, I'm never gonna listen to it again. And I just kind of, it was logic sounds, and I just kind of put it away. And if I wished I had been more bold about showing my work a long time ago, because I think it would have gotten me a lot further in the industry. And just, you know, also breaking that ice about being afraid to show your work. And for all of your guys' very first scores, for the people that are just submitted for the first time, super impressive. Seriously, you guys, it's not an easy task to sit down and do a project like this, especially if you've never done it. It's really not. And so as much as you might beat up over your own work, I just want to say that despite all of your thoughts on it, it's super impressive that you all can just sit down. Obviously, everybody here has a knack for it. And so you're all in the right place. And if you really loved doing it, for all of you people that have been scoring this for the very first time, if you really enjoyed doing it, it made you really excited and it challenged you, then, you know, that's a really good sign that you are in the right field and that you are just where you should be. So, you know, the FS is a really great place for us, you know, for you guys to get feedback. So I do mean it when I say, show me your work, any work, Godzilla, or anything else. Always send it to me. I've had a couple students want to be like, hey, Lauren, I have a couple questions about like, what should I be doing right now? And I'm happy to answer those questions, because I was asking upperclassmen those questions that are no longer here. And so it's good to ask questions. It's good to be involved. And yeah, I don't know how much longer we should wait for Sheldon. He's kind of,
on that?
Yeah, go for it.
Actually, and it can be any question. I know in the chat we were talking about mixing a little bit, and like those kind of like even basic questions, you got to start somewhere. Like, I know, if you're starting out, you're like maybe nervous about, I don't want to ask like this may be a dumb question, but there are really no dumb questions when it comes to film scoring, because a lot of it is technology and a lot of it is like setting up an interface. How do you do that? How do you make, MIDI keyboards show up on your DAW? That kind of simple stuff is like what gets you to the next level. And you kind of just gotta put yourself out there and ask those kind of questions, because that's how you learn.
And like, I'm sure all I can remember, my freshman year was just like filled with the inability to like have successful MIDI. Like my entire freshman year.
I would disagree. It
was always like, had some crazy tech problem happen with me. And that's cool. You got to work through that. It's good to start somewhere. And for me, starting somewhere was learning to like download samples correctly, stuff like that. So if anyone has anything else they want to say on the board, it's been a minute. Sheldon's not here. You guys should email him if you want. He's great. Janine's also great. Janine's the best. She'd be happy to sit down with you. We're all happy. So if anyone has anything else to say.
I did just make a text channel on the Discord for specifically Godzilla feedback. So
cool.
We'll be using that.
Please shoot us an email if you want us to particularly look at it and like write out some notes and stuff. Shoot us an email. We'll do it. We enjoy doing it. I enjoy doing it. So thank you guys so much. And I'm really sorry if we didn't get to your work. Add it to your reel, show your friends. It's all good stuff. So I will see you guys next week. Thank you for coming and have a great rest of your week, you guys. I guess it's Friday. Have a good weekend. Be safe. Goodbye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.